So we kind of have two questions that are sort of similar, so I'm going to put them together. And the first question is at IHCH 888. And the question is, what is new bullion? And then Joey P 322 asks, well, if you don't buy new bullion, then what do you buy? So first, let's define it. And bullion is anything, new bullion, but bullion period is legally described as anything minted after 1933. There are a few caveats of foreign gold, etc. But remember, our government here in the US was not creating gold coins until 1986, after Nixon took us off the gold standard, which I'm being quite kind in this. So that's all that is. It's new stuff that is classified also as monetary gold. So look at what you can hold inside of an IRA. Because if you hold your wealth inside of a system, inside of an IRA, it's easy to take away because they just declare eminent domain. And since it's easy to manipulate or, let's say, manage these spot price contracts, then, I think it'll look like this. Let's say that spot happens to be at $10,000 an ounce when they announce a full overt confiscation. But they say, don't worry, because we're going to pay you $12,000 an ounce. Well, most people believing Wall Street lies will go, oh, okay, because look, it's only worth $10,000. They're willing to pay me $12,000. Rock and roll hoochie coo. But here's the thing. At that point, the true fundamental value of an ounce of gold might be $40 or $50 or $60,000. And they know that after the confiscation comes the revaluation. So personally, I do not buy new bullion at all because that would be subject to an overt confiscation. And keep in mind, I was born in 1954 when it was illegal to hold more than 5 ounces of gold any other way than the old double eagle, minted prior to 1933. And since I think you're new to this, I'm going to tell you a story. So I hope I'm not too redundant for everybody else. But I was quite fortunate to have my Uncle Al, who was a major antique dealer back east, and he was my favorite uncle. I was his favorite niece. And so he actually taught me how hard assets, real assets, move from undervaluation to fair valuation to overvaluation to fair valuation to undervaluation, constantly moving in like an infinity sign as it moves from under to overvaluation. But you know what else he did? One day my parents and I were at his house, and he goes, come on, I want to show you something. And he took us in a back bedroom where he had these 2 tall floor safes. Now, this was 1964. I was 10 years old at that time. And he's opened the doors of these safes, and he said to us, if anything should happen to me, Aunt Bertie will be well taken care of for the rest of her life because of what's in these safes. Well, naturally, I turned around and I looked at it, and what I saw was a stack of gold coins in there minted prior to 1933. You couldn't fit one more coin in either one of those safes. They were jam-packed. If I had to guess, and look, I was 10. I didn't really understand what I was looking at that point. But knowing what I know now, my guess would be in each one of those safes, he had 3 monster boxes each. Well, a monster box has 500 ounces. So that would mean that at the minimum, because there could have been more in there, but at the minimum, he had at least 3,000 ounces of gold when it was illegal to hold more than 5 ounces of gold. And here's the kicker. They were all pre-33s, which means that according to the law, it was fine that he was holding them because they were his collection. Now think about this. If they take the gold away from you at $12,000 an ounce, there is somebody in this market that paid millions of dollars for a rare gold coin. Anybody that can pay millions of dollars for 1 ounce of gold, I don't know. They are likely to either write the laws like Treasury Secretary Wooden did in 33, or have the ability to influence those that write the laws. That's the category I want to be in. And since I am so crystal clear of the true fundamental value of an ounce of gold, and I don't, well, that's not entirely true. For my legacy gold, that's one thing. But typically, I don't spend more than the fundamental value. In fact, I spend way less than the fundamental value of an ounce of gold. So for me, that is an extraordinarily conservative bet because the pre-33 coins have many things that, you know, there's no guarantee about anything, but they have many layers of protection that the new bullion simply do not have. But when you say, then what do you buy? Well, it kind of depends, because in the sound money strategy that we execute, that is designed from my studies of currency life cycles since 1987, you want to do a number of things. You want to sustain your current standard of living. You want to protect the wealth that you have to keep in the system, or you choose to keep in the system. You want to properly diversify that. You want to be in a position to pay off any fixed rate debt with dollars that have no value, which is exactly the same strategy as the government's. And you might want to leave a legacy for your family. So these are all of the things that the sound money strategy is designed to do. And it's designed in a circle, right? In a full circle. So for example, if you're looking at protecting your current standard of living, well, you're going to do that with barterable gold and barterable silver, and depending upon whether it's paying property taxes or it's buying a gallon of gasoline, right? So there are different things for different functions, and that is why we always start with your goals and where you're at. We want to meet you where you're at and help you get to where you want to go. So there is really no blanket answer. And even if you choose to do the new bullion, you disagree with me? Well, just make sure it doesn't matter whether you're right or you're wrong. And to do that, just have a properly diversified metals portfolio. You want to get into this deeper? You should. You should ask lots and lots and lots of questions. Just give us a call, click the QR code, make an appointment to sit down with one of our strategy specialists and see what I'm talking about. We are all about enabling you to make educated choices that puts your best interest first.